If you've been checking your mailbox for those $2,000 tariff rebate checks President Trump had promised, I wouldn't hold your breath. The president was asked about the timing of the payouts, whether they would make it into our wallets by Christmas, and here's what he said to reporters on Air Force One over the weekend.
After this year, it'll be next year sometime.
Do you have a time frame?
No, sometime during the year, next year. It's a lot of money.
The Supreme Court's ruling on the president's tariff authority could greatly impact or potentially completely cancel any checks from ever being cut, meaning next year could really be never. Then there's the fact that if SCOTUS allows the tariff money to stay in the country's coffers, Congress would still need to approve such a large budget item. And speaking of tariffs, this news comes on the heels of the announcement that the Trump administration will eliminate tariffs on coffee, bananas, and some other goods that are imported from places like Guatemala, El Salvador, Argentina, and Ecuador in an effort to lower Americans' grocery bills. The New York Times also reported that the White House is looking to eliminate certain beef tariffs in order to bring the cost of meat down as well. It seems federal immigration agents have their next target, Charlotte, North Carolina. The state's largest city was the site of a new wave of raids over the weekend. The Department of Homeland Security said in a statement, quote, "We are surging DHS law enforcement to Charlotte to ensure Americans are safe and public safety threats are removed." Border Patrol agents were spotted making multiple arrests in the Democrat-run city and were widely condemned by local officials. Mayor Vi Lyles and other local leaders said in a joint statement that the raids were, quote, "causing unnecessary fear and uncertainty in our community." They also had a message of support and caution to those planning to protest the surge of federal boots on the ground. Quote, "We ask that, as a community, we do so peacefully. We do not want to see violence like many witnessed in other cities." The Queen City is home to about 150,000 immigrant residents. Gary Wayne Howard. He's a Florida man who was found guilty of 22 counts of child pornography and branded a sex offender for life back in 2007. Howard didn't spend much time behind bars for those heinous crimes, and he was released on parole. 3 years later, authorities found his abandoned rental car near a lake in Kentucky and assumed he just violated that parole and then killed himself. Except he didn't. The 74-year-old creep was found very much alive in Indiana last week, what officials called a, quote, "deliberate attempt by Howard to stage his own death to appear as a suicide." And after U.S. Marshals arrested Howard when he stepped out onto his front porch, he reportedly said, quote, "I had hoped to be dead before you caught up with me." Dead or behind bars, the sex offender is finally off the streets. For more on this story and everything else you could possibly want to know, check out the New York Post in print or online. And don't forget, like and subscribe to the New York POSTcast wherever you get your podcasts, and on YouTube. You'll be glad you did.